Hans Schaff here again with GoTinyBeFree and the Cottages at Pine Lake property. I want to do another quick little update to kind of get you guys a little more information. I know I'm kind of new to the community. A lot of you don't know who I am or not familiar with who I am. Obviously, you're very familiar with Randy and Amanda. So I want to give you a little bit of background as to kind of who I am and just kind of let you know that I'm not just some kind of random, spur of the moment kind of last minute deal. This is a project we've been working on. I've been working on with Randy ever since I really started to get to know him in person about 2 years ago or so. When I rediscovered him, and we actually kind of had some similar paths. We have similar experiences in the past. I've actually been at this for quite some time. In fact, I've got a video back in 2014 that I did kind of talking about this exact project that I'm doing right here today. In fact, the last 9 years, what I've been working on has been all leading towards this moment, towards building a property just like this. Quick background story, just kind of give you an idea. So the name of my company is GoTinyBeFree, and it's actually Schaff Global Real Estate, DBA, GoTinyBeFree. And Schaff Global, I started that back in 2000. Right out of high school, basically, I got started in my own business, doing some direct sales, and kind of, learned from a young age, kind of, how to run a business, doing cold call sales and learning how to, keep the books. And I mean, just from the ground floor up, basically, I learned it all. Fast forward a few years, and I got into property management when I bought my first apartment complex in Lake Tahoe. And there again, I was somebody that, I also to save money at the time too. Property in California is not cheap. And I was basically able to get that property. It was kind of run down a little bit. So it was a unique advantage. I was able to buy the property with my wife at the time. And the two of us, we did everything. We fixed the property up. We managed the property. Good. So long story short, we started in real estate in California. And I ended up moving out here to Alabama in 2007 to get away from all the craziness that was going on in the mortgage market and in the real estate market at the time. And actually, I came to Huntsville, Alabama for real estate. At the time, there was a lot of things that were going on. Actually, it was BRAC at the time, Base Relocation and Closure. And that was a program going on where military bases around the country were shutting down in certain places. They were trying to consolidate and kind of be a little more efficient with the resources and all. And Huntsville was one of the benefactors of that. Because we have the space and rocket program, a lot of missile defense companies here, things like that. We benefited from that. We had a 4-star materiel command move here onto the base. And so a lot of jobs were moving here, a lot of secondary jobs with missile defense and government contracting positions were being created. So a lot was happening in 06, 05, 04, and 07 when I came out here into Alabama before the market crashed. Once it crashed, Alabama didn't get hit very hard, but because it's a national market, there was. But anyway, I had bought some other property here. It actually was a patio home community. I had bought that with actually my good friend who's a developer of this property with me as well. We're partners on this. He has a background. He since he was 17, 18 years old, he had been developing subdivisions here in Huntsville his entire life. That's all he's known. It was his father-in-law was also in the business, so he learned the ropes kind of from him, started his own thing, and he had up to 28 homes going at one time, proper 2,000, 3,000 square foot homes here in the East Huntsville area. Anyway, so he's got lots of horror stories and lots of experience there and dealing with contractors and subs and developing land and all that kind of thing. Anyway, one of the projects he had done prior to me coming out to Alabama was he had developed 16 patio homes on this great little piece of property. And that's what I bought, which brought me out here to Alabama. And then I worked with him to develop an additional 8 homes on that property. So we had, or 10 homes. So we had 26 patio homes, which were basically 800, 900 square foot homes. So again, kind of a long side story there, but just want to give you an idea as to some of my background, some of what I've done in the past. I'm very, very well versed in real estate. I'm also a mortgage lender here in Huntsville. I have been doing mortgages since 2004, off and on. So I work for mortgage right here in town, doing mortgages as well. But real estate is my bread and butter. That's what I've been doing since 2005, and I bought that property in Lake Tahoe, California. And anyway, long story short, ended up selling that property, the patio homes, all 26 of them, back in 2015. And that's when I decided to go tiny. I wanted to go from 600 to 800 square feet down to less than 400 square feet. It was my dream. Personal anecdote here, I ended up getting divorced from my wife at the time back in 2014. And it was just myself and my dog. And I thought, man, that's when I discovered tiny homes. A friend of mine had introduced me to the concept back in December 2014. And that's when I came up with the name, GoTinyBeFree. And I understood I finally got it. Like, wow, this is how somebody becomes free. Tiny homes and freedom. That's what GoTinyBeFree is all about. And ever since then, since 2014, I've been on a mission to help facilitate this movement and help to facilitate people to get into basically getting all the different freedoms that are included with going tiny, free you from your mortgage, free you from all this huge expense, free you from not being able to be mobile, free you from cleaning and spending all your time just working for your house and able to enjoy your life and do things to be free. And since 2014, that has been my goal. I've been focused on that. In fact, 2015, I started building my own tiny house on wheels. I said, if I'm going to, same approach I've always had to everything I've done in my life. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it full on. I'm going to start from the beginning. I bought myself a trailer that I custom built or had custom built for a 40-foot tiny house on wheels. I went big. I didn't start small. And I said, you know what? After my 26 patio home sold, I said, okay, I'm going to focus the next year building this tiny house. And I did. I spent the entire next year, about 95% of the work on that home was done myself. It was a great accomplishment. That home is now on Airbnb. It's called the Tahoe. And my wife and I, who I'm now married to after starting to build that tiny house, we moved into it in 2016, lived there for 2 years. Great experience. We loved it. But my wife was pregnant, and we had a loft, a 10-foot loft over the kitchen and some steep stairs. And that was not working for her, being pregnant and all. So she said, you know what, for right now, we're going to have to stop the tiny house. We're going to have to go to a normal house. So about 7 or 8 months pregnant, we decided to go ahead and look for a new home. And anyway, that tiny house now is on Airbnb. And that was my first. I've got 4 total tiny houses here in Huntsville on Airbnb. I have a small little tiny community there of just rentals, just on the outskirts of town. And feel free to go take a look if you want, or if you're in town, feel free to stay at one of the tiny houses. But basically, I'm all in on tiny houses. This is my thing, and I've been waiting for all the right ingredients to come together to find the right builder who could actually build a tiny house in a reasonable amount of time and a quality product at a quality price, or a decent price. In fact, one of those 4 tiny homes is an Incredibox, 8x16 Incredibox that I bought from Randy. I also have 2 other tiny houses on order. I've got an RJO and an Incredibox and a credit cottage coming. Those should be coming in the next month or 2, and they'll be here on this property for people to kind of come and see and walk through and see what it looks like to have an Incredibox or an credit cottage or an RJO on this property. It's going to look really good. I can't wait to send those pictures across. But back to the main story here. So anyway, I've got those tiny houses on Airbnb, and my next step was, okay, I've got this small little tiny house village now. I need to go big. And you can't force something like this to happen now. You've got to have all those right ingredients. There's other builders that are around, but they're 2 years backed up. You can't build a tiny house community when you've got a builder who takes 2 years to build a tiny house. It'll take forever. You'll go broke trying to get that going, because you'll be making, you have all this money spent out, no money coming in, and no development, no homes on there for years before you actually get anything going. It would take 20, 30 years to do something like that. So you can't push it, can't force it. It's got to just come together naturally. So anyway, then this property came about with the lake and the spring fed, just beautiful location, the proximity to Huntsville and to Scottsboro and all these amenities around here. It was perfect. Been developing this relationship with Randy. We've been going back and forth in this, talking how would you build the perfect tiny house community, outside of Tennessee, like here in Alabama. We went back and forth, compared notes. I shared my ideas. He critiqued them. We went back and forth on this process. And then finally, it all came to be. So we're very excited to get this property running. We put a lot of due diligence into this property and into this process in general. It's, again, a vision that I've had for 9 years for sure, and really for the whole 25 years of my life. It's all been about how do I become free? How do I help other people become free? And really, I found that tiny houses is the way to do it. Because if you've got a big old house and a big old mortgage on it, you're not free. If you've got, if you're tied to a certain home and you can't leave, you can't go anywhere, that's not freedom. So having a tiny house on wheels gives you the ultimate freedom. You can buy a lot here, with the key money and all, and pay your $300 a month lot rent. And if you've got no utilities, you've got no utility bill. You can take that tiny home and you can go travel. You can go across the country for 6 months, be a snowbird, be in Florida for 6 months during the summer, or during the winter rather, if you want some really nice mild weather, because we do get a little bit cold here. I mean, it's kind of hovers around freezing or so. You don't get any real snows or real ice storms or anything like that. Occasionally we do. But if you want to be a snowbird and go down there in the wintertime and come back up here in the summer, or you want to travel across the country, that's what a tiny house is all about. So I want to give people that ability to be able to do stuff like that. Now, the majority of people are going to get the home and probably just stay here, and that's great too. That's what it's designed for you to stay in place. But if you want to be here for several years and then move your house somewhere else, you don't have to sell it. You can take it with you. That's such an awesome idea. And I think this, as people start to realize, and prices go up across the country and all with inflation and everything else and all the craziness, having a home that's mobile that you can kind of take with you and move around should you want something different, or should the situation change, it's very appealing. People are stuck with these mortgages, and if you can't sell your home, you're stuck. So again, right now, timing is still good. People can sell their homes, they can downsize, they can get their equity out of their homes, and they can call up Randy and Incredible Tiny Homes, and they can buy that tiny house, get this lot secured, and come out here and live with us, and go tiny, be free on the Cottages at Pine Lake. So anyway, just one more time, I want to thank you all for all your comments, all your wonderful feedback, and I just really been just so tickled and just blessed to have all those comments and see everyone's being so happy and inspirational and motivational and excited about what we're doing here, because we're excited for it too. I can't wait to bring this to life for you guys. And I'll be sending more pictures and more videos and more updates to you guys here in the near weeks and months. So stay tuned to the Incredible Tiny Homes YouTube channel, of course, and all the different social channels and all. And we will be getting you updates and letting you see this property come to life. And hopefully you'll be able to be a part of that with us here on site here sooner than later. All right, take care. And again, Hans Schaff, GoTinyBeFree, coming out from this beautiful fall day in October here on the property, the Cottages at Pine Lake. Thank you. See you guys soon.